The Unfiltered by Jade.
Jade.
Welcome to The Unfiltered by Jade, where we get out of the box and dive into topics that are sidelined. I look forward to entertain, educate, and inspire. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, donate, and make everybody know about this.
Beats by RB Records, a proud sponsor of The Unfiltered by Jade.
Shopping assistance, your style, your budget. Our services include online and local shopping for individuals and businesses, personal shopping, purchasing of company and office supplies, importing and exporting small packages across Jamaica and worldwide, and helping you find unique gifts and items for all events and occasions. Contact us at 876-919-5195 or shoppingassistance2015@gmail.com. Shopping Assistance, your style, your budget. Welcome back to The Unfiltered by Jade. Today we have with us Debbieadegold Thompson, and she's here to speak with us about her book. Before we even bring her on, I want to introduce her to you. So she's a counselor, she's a life coach, a public speaker, a motivational speaker, and an author. Hello, Debbie.
Hi, Jade. How are you doing?
I am doing great. And how are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. I am so elated to be on your show.
Boy. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Such a pleasure.
Thank you so much. So I want to get into your book.
Okay.
So I read the book. I read it off.
Nice.
And I really liked the book. So I want to introduce the book to the audience. So it's Before I Do, right? So before that, tell us, what is Love Bites really?
Okay. All right. So the whole idea of Love Bites is just the branding of love, just redefining love into little bite sizes. So it's like little tidbits on love. And the whole idea behind that is that we're in such a fast-paced world. And so you want to get your bites of love while you're on the go. So we know persons are always on the go. You want a quick read, you want to get that quick word in. And so the whole idea behind Love Bites came out of that you can still be able to share your love or share in the whole scheme of love as you go about doing your daily task or you're on the go to a meeting. You can get those little tidbits in.
Okay, awesome. So I want us to talk about some of the chapters in the book, and let's touch on the Run for the Hills. Talk to us about that one.
Wow. Run for the Hills. I think it is just really a powerful topic. And I mean, it was such a time of reflection for me while I was writing about Run for the Hills. When there was a quote that I found online, and it spoke about when you find yourself in the wrong story, you should leave. Sometimes in relationships, you can find yourself in a wrong story or with the wrong person. Initially, the person may seem like a loving, caring person, but when you get to know them, you find that, hey, this one is not a fit for me. And so when you realize, first of all, when you realize who you are and you understand your value, if somebody's going to be treating you less than who you know you are or how you know you should be treated, then I say run for the hills. The quote, run for the hills, is leave. Walk away from whatever doesn't bring out the best in you. And so you have relationships that sometimes bring out the worst in you. And if you find that it is becoming a pattern where only the worst is coming out, leave it. Walk away from it. And if you find that the spouse or the person you're with or in a relationship with is going to treat you less than who you are, walk away. And sometimes there are red flags that sometimes we overlook, But certain things, if you know your character, at your core, if you know you are uncomfortable, if you find that something just itches deep within you that, hey, no, this is not the right thing for you, walk away, run for the hills. If the spouse is continually disrespecting you, or belittles you, walk away. Don't just stay around or hang around, because when you go into marriage, you're gonna have a problem. And if your spouse is emotionally broken and they're not willing to get help, you fly to the hills. Don't run, fly. And so if they're not willing to get help, they're going to hurt you in time to come, because broken people really hurt those who are with them. They might not intentionally want to, but if they're not willing to resolve whatever is hurting them, down the line, they're going to hurt you as well.
I agree with that. Question though, some people see some red flags, as we call it, before. Yes. Should they run before, or should they wait until they're in it and then, trying to work it out? Because it will be argued that actually some people really do change. So should we sit and wait for the change to happen?
Okay. All right. My answer to that is kind of twofold. Okay. None of us are perfect, first and foremost. We all have our flaws. We all come up short in some way or another. But the red flags, if, for example, you realize that when you're in the relationship, the relationship is like a secret. Your partner doesn't introduce you to anyone. You've been dating for a while and you realize that all attempts are made to keep you from meeting any friends, any family members. If the relationship is a secret, that's a serious red flag. Yes. Because one of the things I find when people are in a loving relationship, you want the world to know that yes. I found this treasure. Well, this handsome man or beautiful woman that yes. I treasure so much. I want the world to know that, hey, I found love. And just the whole sentiments of love, want you to shout from the mountaintop that, hey, I have found a good thing. And so if you're a secret, that's a serious red flag. Yes. That you should not continue along that line. Yes, some persons will say, oh, the person may change. It all depends on what the red flag is. That if it is something that you say, okay, fine, the spouse say, oh, I can work on this, or this is something that I am working on, then you know that they really want to change. But if you're just going to wait around and if you're waiting and they're not doing anything to improve or to work on that flaw, then it's best you walk away.
Best you walk away. Yes. And even walking away, it's not always easy to walk away.
That is true.
I was having a discussion with someone on the podcast the other day, even about walking away from relationships. Okay. And she was saying, sometimes we say to people, walk away, but where are they walking away to? We don't know. So, yes, people need to walk away, but people need to find the strength too. And people need to figure out how to walk away yes. from something, because it's not always easy, especially when we're going on the high of the first love that we encountered, because we stay in it because yes. we want to get it back at where it was before. So to tell someone to just walk away sometimes, it's not easy. That's what they're supposed to do, and that's yes, what we tell them yes, to do. Yes. But how do we encourage persons, hey, you're in a bad situation, you really do need to look at it, yes. And to make a decision to love yourself and just leave that situation. How do we go about that?
Okay. All right. So we know the whole dynamics of love is really a very sensitive issue.
Right.
And so once the heart becomes engaged, it is really hard to let go.
Right.
And so, but when you realize that, hey, you come into this relationship from a place of wholeness, you understand yourself coming into the relationship. I find that sometimes, and more leaning onto the side of females, that right. sometimes we get our hearts so engaged before. So, for example, I heard a relationship coach said something some time ago. He was just making reference to how a woman engages her heart before. So she meets the man, and about the third date, mm-hmm. she's thinking about getting married to him and walking off into the sunset mm-hmm. together. Mm-hmm. As opposed to after the third date, the man may not even realize the color of your eyes, or even yes. realize you have color in your hair. Mm-hmm. And so, where the heart is. And so you find sometimes for a man, they take their time before they plunge into love. For yes. most men, But women sometimes are so heady, and the heart gets engaged so fast. And
Mm-hmm.
so you have to understand that love is a very sensitive thing. And before you are willing to give your heart, you must know what you're giving your heart to.
Yes.
You must understand, search out the character of the person before you give them your heart, before you decide. Because love is a decision, even
Yes, it
though you
is.
have the emotional, the feelings associated, it's also a decision you make. And so, who are you giving your heart to? So, if you take the time understanding the person's character, understanding their strengths and their weaknesses, and when you look at all of this, you say, okay, fine, I think this is outside of all the flaws, I think I can have a beautiful life with this person. Then go ahead. But when you do your assessment and you look and you say, okay, I don't think I can live with these things. When you count out or you write off some of the flaws, you say, wow, I don't think I can live with these things.
Right.
Before you get your heart all engaged and tangled up in the person, it makes it easier at that time to walk away. But I
Yes.
find that if we're not properly prepared for love, you find that it becomes a mess over time.
Oh, yes.
Just like a career, we spend time working on our careers and we spend time doing preparations for different things. But most time we don't prepare ourselves for love
Nope.
and what it entails. And so, just like work, going to work on a daily basis, you have to work on your love. And there are things that you can do to enhance your love.
I agree. I agree. And we don't just stay in something just because we want to be in a
Yes,
relationship
yes,
or
that's
we
true.
want to be in a marriage.
Yes, yes, that's important.
It's important. All right. What's the difference with sharing and giving or love away?
Okay, interesting. Sharing or giving your love away. I'm just gonna share just a little personal story
Right.
before my husband and I got married.
Mm-hmm.
I usually hear, like, most times ladies would say it, oh, I love this man so much. And after everything that I did, or I poured out my whole life, and he's gone. And I would think about it sometimes, and I said, wow, I don't want to give my love to a man and then he walks away and leaves me. And I remember when my husband and I started dating, that was before before getting married.
Right.
While we were dating, I said to him, I brought up the same example, sorry. And I said to him, so many women at times pour out their all into a man. They give their all to the relationship, and then the man just gets up and leave. And I
Right.
said, most time the woman is so broken beyond repair sometimes. And I know of examples where women, after a man leaves her, he goes away and marries somebody else, and she is broken and she never recovers. And
Yes.
I said, I don't want to be in that. And my husband, he said something to me, and I tell you, that really spoke volumes to me. He said, you don't give your love away, you share your love. And I
Yes.
thought about it, and I was like, wow, I never thought of it that way. When you give your love away, there is nothing else left to share with anybody else. But
Right.
if he should walk away, then all is gone with him. But when you share your love with him, first of all, it comes from a place of understanding who you are.
Mm-hmm.
It comes from a conscious decision that I am going to not give you all my love, but I have all of this love to give, and I'm going to share it with you. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's a decision you make. Just like if you have $1 million, you can decide to give the $1 million away, or you
Right.
can decide, I'm going to give you 50% or 20%. Love is like that. Okay, so sharing or giving your love away, it's so important that you share your love. And
Right.
sharing your love comes from a place of just a conscious decision that you are going to let somebody into the beauty that is
Mm-hmm.
you, the
Mm-hmm.
love, the joy that is oozing from you. You're going to bring them into your space, the space in your heart, the space in your mind, for them to share in the beautiful love that you have to give. And
Mm-hmm.
so you're not giving it away, because when in your mind, if you're pouring out your all into someone, if they should walk away, you're going to feel as if there is nothing left there
Yep.
for you or to give to anybody else or to
Yes.
share with anybody else. So it's important that you decide. Think about you, think about what you have to share. And most times, as individuals, we don't think about it.
No.
You think about your career, you think that, hey, I'm so talented, I have all these gifts, I can share it and I can get my income from it. But what about love? You have all this love inside to share with someone.
Yes.
You can decide to share all of it and know that this love can be replenished. So
Yes.
even if the person, you share it and the person walk off, you know there is a place of replenishing of
Yes.
that love that
Yes.
you can pour out to somebody else. But if you have the mindset that when I give you all, I have nothing left, then that's a dangerous place to be. And so that's why I thought it was important to mention that you share your love from that conscious place and not from the place of pouring it all out and giving it all away. So that's why I think that this is so beautiful.
Okay. And I've always emphasized the person the fact of you don't give everything, of yourself to anyone.
Yes.
It's you adding. So you add to me.
Yes. You add value. Yes.
You add value to me, I add value
Yes.
to you, we're adding.
Yes.
So you're
That's
not
so important.
I mean, for all those who are listening and those who have the mindset to say, oh, he completes me. I've never said somebody completed me. Because when they leave, it means that I'm gonna be incomplete now. Something is
Yes.
gonna be missing. So I don't go by saying, oh, this man completes me and he's everything and he's my best side and he's my best half. No, I am not a half.
No.
We're whole persons
You
going
are a
into
whole.
something together.
Yes. And it's so beautiful when two wholes come together.
Yes.
You share together.
Yes.
Because when if I'm broken and I need repairing 50% of me, and the other person is broken, you're gonna have a problem.
Yes,
So
you
when you
are.
come together as whole individuals, you understand each other better. And
Yes.
you can understand when you are going too far and losing yourself,
Yes.
as opposed to when you are broken, you don't know how far you've gone. But if
Right.
you come in whole and you find that something is chipping away at your wholeness, you can get a grip of yourself faster.
Find back yourself, definitely.
Yes.
All right, so I want to also touch about this topic. Do not compare what you have.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Oh my goodness. I mean, I don't know if it's a part of just our human nature to look on others and compare. As children growing up, sometimes you look at what one sibling have, or you look at what maybe a friend have, and you're like, but I don't have enough. But in relationships, it's so important that you don't compare your love and your relationship to another couple's relationship. You don't know what their journey is like. You
Yes.
don't know what they're going on. You don't know what's going on in their neck of the woods. Because I heard somebody say some time ago, even an insane man will not tell you he is insane.
True.
And so persons will present the best to you. And if you are not careful and you are comparing your relationship, you can find that you begin to become unhappy and unhappy with your love. So first and foremost, understand that you have something beautiful. And the funny part of it is that couple that you may be comparing yourself to may be looking on your relationship and
Exactly.
wishing that they had something as good as yours. And
Exactly.
so value what you have. Value your spouse, value yourself, value your union. And I think that will help to just increase your joy and allow you to enjoy your love.
Comparison is a thief of happiness, though.
Oh, yes, it is. That's so true. So true.
So it really speaks to an important part in anything,
Yes,
whether it's finances in the marriage, whether
yes,
it's how you raise kids, whether it doesn't really matter what it is.
yes.
As you said before, we really don't know what the other person is going through. So comparing
That is
sometimes
true.
causes people's marriage to fail because they're comparing
Yes.
so much that they're not enjoying their
What they
journey.
have. Yes.
Most definitely. So, what was the motivating factor behind the book?
Okay. All right. So the motivating factor behind the book was to help persons prepare better for love.
Okay.
There are a few experiences I've had in the past in terms of relationship wise, and trying to understand the other person, trying to understand myself, and understanding, okay, if I come into this relationship, what is going to what's going to happen.
Right.
and understanding the other person's emotions and understanding myself. So in about 2014, the whole idea of doing the book, in terms of helping persons prepare. I mean, 2014 was such a significant year for me. I just woke up one morning and just knew that, of some strange reason, I say, okay, fine, I think my time has come to get married.
Right.
And I was like, that just seems so weird. But I tell you, I just felt like I stepped into that season and I
Yes.
just decided I have to be prepared. And
Yes.
there's certain things I started doing some research. I said, if I'm going to get married, I must understand how men operate. I must understand if I'm going to be married, then I must understand the dynamics of marriage and the dynamics of love. And so I just really dive into looking at love and, the importance of love and, how do you operate in marriage and all of that. So preparation before marriage, that was what inspired it. Giving you like 30 bites to consider before getting married, looking into yourself, who you are, understanding who you are, the value of happiness, thinking about how short life is. And these are so many of the different areas I thought about. And I said, wow, I think I should, just put this in a book, and not just for myself, because I know these things have helped me over the years, even in preparation. And now that I'm married, they have also helped in marriage to kind of better gauge where I am and understanding Debbie. And so I think just that motivation behind it, preparing yourself for love. Because one of the things I find, most time people just jump headlong into love, even without thought. But it's something that we need to give thought to, because it's so important. If you want your love to remain, and there's a long and lasting love, that nice wedding song, long and lasting love.
Oh, yes.
Yes, if you want that long and lasting love, you're going to have to understand love, understand when to give and take, the battles to choose, that you choose to fight, and to maintain your forever. And so that was the motivation behind it.
Nice. Since the book was written in a workbook style, was it published for couples or individuals?
It was done, I think I would say, for both groups, because I envisioned individuals, for example, singles preparing themselves. They want to sit alone to kind of do that introspection, to kind of see where they are. I thought that it would be good that they could have something to interact with, so they could make their notes. The mind is such an awesome tool, but nothing beats writing down some of these feelings or the emotions you're experiencing, some of the past experiences. You can just chronicle them. And when you go into your counseling session, maybe as individuals, you want to have that preparation time, you can talk to your counselor. And I think, mention that if you have certain areas that you find difficulty in resolving, that you should talk to your counselor. And it can also be for couples, where you can sit together, just do that introspection together in your relationship. Where are you? You assess and see where you are, and you can make notes and take that book with you when you go to your counselor, or when you sit together to reflect and see, okay, fine, at the beginning of the year, you want to see how can your relationship be better? How can you improve? You're working together. And so I think it's appropriate for both. So when I wrote it, I had it in mind that it can be both for individuals and for couples.
Okay, awesome. And I think even couples can use it, like, to see, or this is where we're at now. Couple months later, we'll do it again to find out where we're at that time, because things might change. Seems like it's forever changing. Things might change and perspectives might change. So it can be an ongoing book in terms of doing the work, getting the work done.
Yes.
Nice. So where can we find your book, and how can we contact you?
Okay, great. So it's on Amazon, and persons once they go on Amazon, they can just type in A Depth Full of Bites, and it will come up. Or before I do A Depth Full of Bites, and it will come up. We have the Kindle version and the paperback. So for persons who say, okay, fine, I just want the Kindle version to read, you can go ahead, and that's at a cheaper cost. That's for $8. Or the paperback is for $13.59. And so if you want that kind of workbook, some persons will just read and assess and do their own jottings. You can just get the Kindle version and do that. Or if you want the book in hand, you can just go ahead and order it from Amazon. But for, our Jamaican peeps, gonna be getting copies, and I'll have them on sale shortly here in Jamaica. And so I can be contacted by email at debbieadegold@gmail.com. That's DEBBIEADEGOLD. That's just one word, at gmail.com.
Nice. So thank you so much, Debbie, for being on and speaking about your book, and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Jade. And it's such a pleasure and such an honor to talk about it with you today. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Really appreciate it.
Yes, and thank you so much again for being on the Unfiltered by Jade. Thank you, listeners, and we'll be back next week, Tuesday. Thank you. Bam, 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 bam,